Hello, dear brothers and sisters. Today we are going to discuss very interesting topic. The topic is about the way of education system in the world and particularly in the India. In India, the ancient education system have the goal of making man enlightened or making man from the human. The ancient education system is particularly based on the Vedic culture. In ancient education system, the student has to follow the monarchic rules and regulation to attain the enlightenment or to attain the man's level at the ultimate set goals for the enlightenment. But because of the superiority complex of few people who have the enlightenment up to certain level, they try to dictate on the normal people, or they try to become a ruler for all the non-educated peoples. So because of this reason, ancient education system could not perform after Vedic eras. Then comes the British colonial era. British come into the India with their own education system. The British education system have the three main goals. The first goal is to education must act as an engine of economy. The second goal is education must act as a foundation to their culture. And the third goal is education must act as a preparation for the adulthood life. So these three goals were recently defined by their education minister, Mr. Gibbs. And on all these three goals, British education system is based on particularly. So today we will not go into the debate of which education system is better, the British or ancient India. We will summarize it. We will summarize as the goal of education. And we will make the four goals. First is make the man, not a material. Second, the education must act as an engine to economy. Third, the education must act as a foundation to our culture, not to the British culture. The fourth, education must act as a preparation for the adulthood. So, how we can achieve these four goals? So, what should be the best way of education to achieve these goals? The famous monk of India, Sri Swami Vivekananda, defined in a single word. The way of education is self-control. We have to learn the self-control to achieve these four goals. And interestingly, the American philosophy is based on only this phrase, the self-control. The whole legal system of world, the legal system of any country is based on this single word, the self-control. The psychologist from Stanford University, Mr. Walter Mischel, has performed one famous experiment in United States to prove this self-control's role in the education, or to prove the self-control's role in success, to prove the self-control's role to achieve the four goals set by the education of ancient India and colonial British rules. So this famous experiment is called as the Stanford's Marshmallow experiment. The marshmallow is the famous sweet dish of United States of America. It is equivalent to our India's this Mysore pak. It is almost as sweet as Mysore pak, but delicious than the Mysore pak. And it is used in United States as a sweet dish after the lunch or after the dinner. So what this Stanford Marshmallow test is about? The Stanford Marshmallow test is conducted by Mr. Walter. Walter goes to the nursery school where the students from 4 to 6 years studying. He performed one experiment on those students, he led students one by one to the room which is very silent. In the room, he put one table. On that table, he put some papers. He sit on one side of the table and he asked the student to sit on another side. Please understand, the students are 4 to 6 years old. So these are the small babies. So he conducted experiment on those babies. He asked very simple questions to these students. Like, what is your name? What is your father's name? And after every correct answer, he claps. And he encouraged the boy to give the next answer correct. So students were very happy because the questions are very simple. And after 2 or 3 simple questions, students feel like in heaven that they passed the exam. And Mr. Walter took the advantage of that situation and rewarded those students with one marshmallow. Students were very happy because they passed the critical exam of Mr. Walter, who is the scientist in Stanford University, and they greeted with marshmallow. So they look after this marshmallow and they feel they have to eat it immediately. And Walter, all of a sudden, take his bag and ask the student, "Oh, I have to take 15 minutes. Please give me a boy. I have to meet my friend who is waiting for me outside this room. If you wait for the 15 minutes, I will give you 2 more marshmallows. And if you will not, you have to eat this only." And he left the room. The room is actually prepared with the CCTVs, with the cameras and with the voice recorders. And actually Mr. Walter go to the control room and see the behavior of the boy. He is the psychologist actually. And he sees in first 2 minutes, boy looked towards the marshmallow, then looked towards the fan. After 5 minutes, the child start looking towards the door. He observed the behavior of the students. So he carried this experiment on a number of students, like more than 600 students. He carried this experiment actually. And his conclusions were very, very surprising and exciting. That the students who were waited till Mr. Walter comes to the room, in future, all those students have average grades in their degrees, average grades in their critical exams are very good. And they are very averagely successful in their life. They are successful in their relationship. They are successful in their personal life. They are not addicted as much compared to those who failed in this experiment. And the conclusion of this experiment is only about this single word, self-control. Mr. Walter also proved that self-control is essential parameter of the education. Mr. Walter in his conclusion mentions that self-control has to be taught to the students so that they can become successful in their life. They can achieve the 4 goals of education. So self-control is the only key parameter. The same thing is stated by Mr. Vivekananda, same thing is proved by Mr. Walter, and same thing, which is the base of all education, is understood by the Chinese philosophers, understood by the Japanese philosopher, and understood by the Indian philosopher as well. But the problem is how to teach the self-control. We first understand that self-control is the way of education. We need to understand that self-control is the way of education to achieve the 4 goals of education. That is the 4 goals which we mentioned initially. The make the man, second, to make the man as an engine of economy. Third, to make the man as a foundation of the culture. To make the man as the foundation of culture is the third one, and to make the man as prepared for the adulthood is the fourth one. So we can look around us and we can find the practical example for this self-control concept. The student who avoid the temptation at the time of his 10th exam or at the time of his graduation exam, they achieve more grades. The student who avoid the temptation at the time of the competitive exams, they achieve the success. The people who avoid the temptation don't have the addiction of any bad things, and also they are successful, they are very hardworking. So the self-control is the way of education. We will define here. In next discourse, we will discuss about the three fundamental parameters which can define the self-control. And these three parameters are concentration, unselfishness, and decision making. So friends, thank you for your attention. Thank you very much.